And we're back here once again with another episode of the Cloud9 Podcast, Season 17, Episode 18. So I hope you guys had a great day, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your week that is ahead of you. And in this episode of the Cloud9 Podcast, we are going to be talking about OKC sweep the Los Angeles Lakers, and also talking about, does LeBron James stay in LA? And we are joined here with Noops Christensen. Haven't seen him in about, a week or so?
Couple weeks. About 2 weeks.
Yeah. So the last time we talked, the quarterfinals essentially hadn't even, gone underway. Essentially, what's crazy is I remember the way the playoffs went with all the game ones. When the Sixers lost the first game, you were like, you know what? I'm already checked out. And that's how most people's brains work too. I remember because the playoffs panned out kind of like how last year went. Like last year, most of the series kind of went how you thought they were going to go. And then this year, there was a lot more, I would say, upset potential in the air. What's that song when you were growing up? It was like love is in the air. It's like upset is in the air kind of thing like that. And then one of the upsets actually happened. Like you guys actually pulled off the upset. Actually, you guys end up actually beating the Boston Celtics, and it looked like the Magic were actually going to pull off probably one of the biggest upsets in modern NBA history, an 8th seed taking out a 1st seed, which I think has never happened in the playoffs, actually.
It has. It happened a couple times. The Dallas Mavericks were a 1 seed, lost to the Warriors as an 8 seed. And the Denver Nuggets, when we were kids, actually maybe just before we were born, the Nuggets were an 8 seed and beat a 1 seed. I can't remember who it was, but it has happened a couple times. It is extremely, extremely rare, though. Again, for those of you who don't follow the NBA, the 1 seed is the team that had the best record in the conference. The 8 seed is generally a team that has struggled all year, and you do from time to time find upsets. I'm trying to remember if the Heat ended up being an 8 seed and they upset the number 1 seed the year that they made the finals, but it's very, very rare. In those teams that were number 1 seeds that lost, they're either dealing with a big injury, or the team that's the 8 seed was dealing with injuries all season and was just a much different team at the end. But yeah, it would have been pretty wild for that Magic team. And as we talked about that, I mean, it just speaks to how tough of a matchup they are for Detroit. Detroit wants to play physical basketball. They want to be big. They want to beat guys up. And Orlando loves playing like that. They're not going to get shook. And that's what we saw. And it's been a little bit different here. We're 4 games into the second round of that series. Cleveland wins the 2 games at home. Detroit wins 2 games at home. I still think Detroit's the better team there, but we'll see.
And then what's really crazy about your series is that this now means that the Boston Celtics have, they're an organization kind of like the Lakers where, like it's cool to have the stats up there that you've had like 50 plus win regular seasons, and JJ Redick is the only second coach in Lakers history to have a back-to-back season of 50 plus wins, next to like Phil Jackson. It has been a long time since they've had a season do that good. I'm not saying they've had previous season before Phil Jackson. It's like that should be a big accomplishment, right? To have a 50 plus game regular season, and it is actually. But when you have story organizations that have more banners than some teams even have fans, right? Wizards, god damn it! But the actual fans go, we either win the conference finals or the actual finals, and if we don't do any of those, it doesn't really matter, honestly. Or, maybe if they can come around to liking the NBA Cup, which crazy is LeBron actually did win that back in 2023, I think.
It was the first NBA Cup. Whatever the first year was, the Lakers won that, yes.
Yeah, so it's either maybe the Lakers get around to winning more of those whenever they can, or you win the conference finals, or you win the actual trophy at the end. Some of the fans are like, nope, not good enough. And it's like, I get it. I understand. They used to be the top dogs for a while. They're used to winning a lot. I would say the Celtics more than the Lakers, because the Lakers guys, outside of like the last championship with Kobe Bryant, it's been, you've got the bubble ring that people still debate if that's an actual title, which
it is.
Yeah, and it's crazy because if you go, I swear, dude, do you know, I think this is what happens with a lot of these fans now. I understand them now. It's this thing, because you're a little older, right? Maybe I know what the lingo is. Do you know what the term being a LARPer is? It's essentially like
live action role play, right?
but it's different. So in nerd culture, what LARPing now means as like a slang term, it's like what a tourist is. You know, like someone would actively pretend like they're actually watching the games, but they're only talking about like narratives. So like
Yeah.
have you
We
seen
just
my
call it lying. I would just call that lying.
yeah. So like you see these right here. So like in the comic book world, a lot of people have this stuff on their background because I would say they buy it for like a shelf decoration, but they haven't actually read any of this contents in
No.
the actual books. So they're LARPing as a comic book fan because it would make them look like they're actually more into something than they are. What I've noticed with a lot of fandoms now and a lot of communities, like the NBA specifically, they're following the narratives being pushed out. A lot of them aren't even actually watching the games. Even the ones, because like a lot of these guys, they'll have streaming services. So some of them have Peacock, some of them have Prime Video to watch like some of the games. And I'll ask them, did you watch this game? There's a live broadcast you can watch from start to finish. And these games last in, you don't have, there's highlights. There's a free NBA YouTube channel you can watch the highlights for. If you're poor, watch the highlights. No one would be mad about that because you're at least still engaging with the content. It's like some of these people are just fans of the actual narratives themselves, not even actually understanding and watching the game itself. And I'm sitting there going like, you know, this narrative you're talking about is like outdated, right? Because if someone were to tell me LeBron James had a bad playoff series last year against the Bulls, I would 100% agree with you. He actually completely ran it down. Austin Reeves himself literally said, it's my fault we lost, and LeBron was very angry with how he played in that series. Understandable. But if someone said he had a bad playoff series this year, I would go like, yeah, in some games, a little bit, but overall, he actually was not bad this year in the playoffs. He might have, not came up clutch in that final moment that we had last night, but he was actually completely fine. It actually wasn't his fault that the team just came apart. And he played the role a lot of people ask him to play. They say, hey, you're not the main guy anymore. You're not the main character in the movie anymore. You are the third string. Well, guys, he's been playing third string all year with Luka and Austin. What's going to happen when he has to take the main role again? Well, he's not going to know how to do something. He doesn't know how to do it. It's like, people got to factor in. You can't just do something like that on the fly again when that's not your role. Like he does that and they lose. Everyone's going to blame him. And he's going to get all the blame anyway when they lose anyway. It's like a catch-22. He goes and plays the first string role. Then he's going to be like, well, it's your fault. You're the main guy. But he even said last night, I played a role that I've not really played in my entire career. That's a problem. Even when he's like, your guys' GOAT, your guys' favorite player, even they have issues like that. Doing something that different so drastically in the season is just not going to be good enough. It's just not going to happen. So I wouldn't really blame. Normally, I would blame him. I can't blame him this time around. There's just not much they can do. Their team is just not good enough, guys. I'm sorry. Like, realistically, I'll be honest with you guys, the Timberwolves are probably the third seed, honestly. They just kind of sandbagged the regular season quite a bit. They just straight up sandbagged the regular season the whole time. Their team actually isn't that bad, honestly. The team is actually pretty good. But, I don't really truly think they take the regular season that seriously all that much sometimes. Because, like, the Lakers are not bad. It's just, OKC is just a different beast. And I know Shea Gillis flops. I understand. I don't like that either. But even when he doesn't flop, he beats the living shit out of people. This man had, 35 points?
People talk about these series like every team is equal. Well, they're all in the playoffs, so they all must be good. It's like, okay, even if the Lakers had a fully healthy Luka Doncic and had a fully healthy Austin Reeves for the whole thing, they're not nearly as talented as a team as Oklahoma City. They're just not. And I thought LeBron was fantastic, especially against Houston. Like you said, he had sort of taken a back role throughout most of the season. Came into that series, again, everyone's injured. It's basically him and Luke Kennard and DeAndre Ayton and Marcus Smart and Jared Vanderbilt for some reason. It's just a mess. And I think to even get through that first round was incredible. So, again, it's kind of like you said, I think it's easier for people to read a narrative and sort of follow that because basketball is hard to watch. Like, even if you're watching it, it takes a lot of practice and a lot of years of watching it to understand what you're seeing. It's something that, I argue with people all the time, like, oh, they don't play defense in the NBA. It's like, they do, you just can't see it. They don't run plays in the NBA. They do, you just can't see it. It takes tons and tons of practice. So I think there's definitely people who pretend they watch games and talk about them like, oh, well, I watched every Lakers game this season. And you listen to talk bullshit. There's no way that you watched every Lakers game. And like, maybe you had it on. Maybe it was on the TV, but you're playing on your phone. You're playing some video game. You're doing some other sort of shit. You're not actually paying attention. So they go on and they latch onto those narratives. And it's whatever. It's fine. At the end of the day, I think what LeBron James did at the age of 42, again, against that Rockets team that was more talented than him at every position, to find a way to sort of carry that team into out of the first round was great. Okay, second round, you guys didn't win a game. There really wasn't a game that was close. Well, no shit. You're playing the best team in the NBA, probably the best constructed team in the NBA since those Warriors teams. This Thunder team is unbelievable. They don't have their second best player, and they're just killing people. So it's just like the expectations are way out of whack, and people just need to just relax. Again, that's what we talk about all the time. The NBA's biggest problem is NBA fans hate the NBA. And there's just this overwhelming negativity about the sport where it's like, we can't take a moment to be like, wow, LeBron, that was really great. Which would be like, oh, LeBron fucked it up. If he was still LeBron James, they'd be winning titles. And it's like, okay, that's an insane expectation to set. Number one, that's an insane expectation to set for a man who's 42 years old. Yeah. And even if LeBron was at peak LeBron, I don't even think a peak, you take peak LeBron, Miami Heat LeBron, those first couple years he went back to Cleveland. You take that LeBron and you put him with DeAndre Ayton, Marcus Smart, Jared Vanderbilt, and, Luke Kennard, the Thunder probably still win. Now, maybe there's some of those games are close. The Lakers steal a couple, but the disparity of talent is just too much to overcome. And I think that's what we've seen. Like the first round, you had a couple series that were just, again, my Sixers are able to come back and beat the Celtics. I think that just speaks more about, again, that Celtics team without Tatum. It's Jaylen Brown and Derek White, who took a huge step back this year. There's just not really a lot of talent there. And I think that's why you're seeing why the Sixers just got smashed by the Knicks. You got a Sixers team that's basically playing six guys. There's just no depth there. So I think the way, again, the bracket started out, you had teams in the Lakers and Rockets that if they end up playing anybody else in the first round, they get clobbered, but they don't. They play each other. Celtics and Sixers, again, the East maybe not as competitive there, but it's no surprise that we've got the Knicks here waiting for the winner of Pistons Cavs, and it's no surprise that we've got the Thunder waiting for the winner of Spurs Timberwolves. That's exactly what we all thought was going to happen. Here we are.
Yeah, so let's go through some of the stuff you had said. So the Sixers, we'll start there actually. So the way that I've theorized it is that some people have to understand that sometimes when you watch playoffs, and would be NFL, would be NBA, whatever sport you watch, there's going to be those teams that just kind of play up to the occasion and they kind of hone in on that underdog mentality. Like when you watch the interviews that the Sixers players did with the media after the game's over, I'm talking to Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey and Paul George, they literally were like, you know what? We're underdogs. Well, we're just going to go out there and ball. Some teams just play better up to the occasion. And then actually that happens in the playoffs too. They play up to the occasion that in that one series and then they lose the next one. That's what happens. Sometimes you don't get that underdog story miracle run that a lot of people actually keep thinking of. Guys, it's like sometimes steam runs out. I don't know where this concept goes where it's like, but they were an underdog and they guys, the Sixers quite literally were not even supposed to even be in the playoffs. They were supposed to be like where the Clippers and the Warriors are competing for a play-in spot. Them actually being in the conference semifinals, that's a good year for the Sixers. Do you know how many times they've been in the conference semifinals in the last 5 years? It's been quite a bit. It's been like, if you look at their playoff history, it's been quite spotty. This year, they actually overachieved. They took out the second seed, quite literally. You look at those betting spreads. Not a single person was really betting
10-1 underdogs to win the series after game one.
Actual underdogs. And the players said it themselves.
Means, folks, the market gave them an 11% chance of winning that series, just for context. Again, for those of you who don't understand betting odds, 10 to 11%. And you're right. And that's kind of what happened too when they ran into the Knicks. They weren't supposed to win that series either. And, if it was just the Knicks 5 starters versus just the Sixers 5 starters for 48 minutes a game, okay, maybe things are suddenly a little bit interesting, but that's not the case. You've got to find ways to get other players in there. And you go back and look, the Sixers are basically playing their starters in Quentin Grimes. And it's not just that the extra minutes tire these guys out. It changes the way they play. Someone like Tyrese Maxey, who likes to play with an overwhelming amount of energy on every play, knows he's going to play 45 of 48 minutes. He can't be doing all that sort of stuff. So it forces these guys to change their game. The Knicks are really deep. They're really complete. And if OG Anunoby comes back healthy here, I think they've got a chance to make the finals. I still don't think they're going to beat anyone out of the West. But at the end of the day, again, like, everyone, and kind of like what you're saying, like, if you go back and really think about what the Sixers were supposed to do, this was great. If you continue to change your expectations based on what happened every day, then, maybe it seems like sort of a letdown. And again, as a Sixers fan, I thought we'd beat the Knicks once. I didn't think we'd get completely clowned, but it just didn't work out. And again, even if the Sixers win that series, there's no chance they're beating Detroit. And even if they somehow did that, like, it's not going to work out. At a certain point,
right.
Some teams are more talented than others. Some teams are better prepped for that situation, and
some teams play better into other teams better.
That too. The matchups matter too, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, Embiid just can't bully the Knicks the way he bullied the Celtics. It's a Boston team that really doesn't have a center. That's really what that series came down to. You had Jaylen Brown trying to guard Embiid in the post. I mean, he's half a foot taller than he is and like 100 pounds heavier. Whereas the Knicks, it's like, well, we got Karl-Anthony Towns. We have Mitchell Robinson. OG Anunoby does a really great job defensively. They've got guys to deal with that. And it's not even just that. They have guys that can swarm Embiid. We can double Embiid and still get back to our spot. So, the Knicks are the better team. It's no surprise. And again, I think, kind of like you said, if you compare my Sixers to your Lakers, it really is kind of the same story. Two teams that definitely had a lot of upside, but came into the postseason injured without really a lot of their best players, go to tough situations, absolutely exceeded expectations in the first round and met expectations in the second round.
Yeah. And I know people are going to look at both teams and go, well, the Sixers beat some legit contender. Well, the problem with that, guys, is everyone kind of knew going in the Lakers kind of got the easiest, beside maybe the Knicks against the Hawks. So you had Detroit against Orlando, Knicks against Atlanta. I mean, arguably, you could say the Lakers got one of the more easier seeds, but even they're supposed to lose that round too. Betting predictions, they're supposed to lose that too.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the issue that a lot of people don't give with the Lakers, actually, there's a very fortunate situation that doesn't go to Game 7. Because in Game, was it 4 or 5, one of them, when Jabari Smith fouled Marcus Smart for whatever reason he did, when they could have just ran the clock and just won the game, that series probably goes to Game 7. Now, do the Rockets still win that? Probably, maybe. I don't know. Kevin Durant no, guys, because Kevin Durant didn't play only like one game in the series, right? I'm not saying the Lakers would lose. No. I'm not saying the Lakers were going to lose that, but there's a good chance that series goes to Game 7. But even then, Lakers still win. But everyone but no one predicted that they would win that series too. That's the thing, though. They weren't predicted to win, and they came up winning it. Same with your team. But people need to understand, it's just like most of the times you watch playoffs, that's going to happen, though. The better team usually 9 times out of 10 usually wins, barring some major upset. I forgot that one player. He smashed through every team to win a title long time ago. Oh, man, it's like one of the most legendary title runs ever, where he beat like every single super team in his way to get to a finals win. I forgot the guy's name. But, like, you're not going to always have that, guys. This is... That's why they're called once in a lifetime.
Talking about Kawhi?
I think so.
Kawhi with the Raptors, maybe?
That's a modern day one. That one works. You're not gonna always have that, though. What are these things with people where they always expect like that thing to happen? It's like that, guys. That's very rare. If you want that to always happen, you are crazy.
Yeah, I think that you said it's like it's kind of what people want, and it reminds me of. There was a big fight between Conor McGregor and Floyd Mayweather. And it was Conor McGregor's first time actually boxing. And for those of you who don't know, Floyd Mayweather is one of the greatest boxers of all time. And, Mayweather is towards the end of his career. He's basically getting ready to retire. It was just an exhibition match. And me and my betting friends, we bet Mayweather at every price throughout, but there was still value in him because everyone sort of talked themselves into, well, McGregor just has to hit him once. Now, this is one of the greatest defensive boxers of all time. This is a boxer who may have never been cleanly hit by any boxer, let alone someone trying to do it their first time in an exhibition fight. But again, people get themselves wrapped around, oh, well, all he has to do is hit him once. All he has to do is hit him once. And it's like, okay, even in a fight where one punch can end it, that is insane. In a 7-game series, we have to beat a team 4 times in 7 games. It's just so hard. I'm still trying to think of maybe some other examples.
That's
Maybe
why
were
blowing a
you thinking of
3-1
Nowitzki?
lead.
Maybe Nowitzki
Yeah,
winning the
yeah.
title with Dallas? Is that who you were thinking of?
Yeah, Dirk Nowitzki, man, one of the most legendary runs that guy had.
That was
Come on, guys, just that. That was in 2011. That was it's going to have its anniversary come up very, very soon. That was almost nearly fucking 15 years ago. That, and you could use Kawhi Leonard's one. When was that? 2021? That itself was 5 years ago. You know, you don't get these legendary runs. These legendary runs you guys are talking about. Jerry West, and you have Dirk and Bill Watt and even those are split very large between each other. You don't get these kind of moments though. So I'm just gonna tell you, you need to temper your expectations when it comes to like these crazy weird upsets you're gonna think. It's just not gonna always happen though. And when they do, obviously celebrate them. That is as a massive.
It's fun. That's what people want to see. It's fun.
Yeah, but just don't expect that result to translate to another team, because a lot of people thought, the Sixers could go to the conference finals. If the Sixers go to the conference finals based off that series, that'd be amazing. But then you have to realize, wait a minute, this is reality. They would actually have to get to the Knicks. It's like when you guys it's like when you guys go and watch movies and TV shows and you actually think Sydney Sweeney is going to date you, but if you met her in real life, she wouldn't even know you exist. You see how that happens? You need to come back to reality. It's a reality moment when you go, wait a minute, Sydney Sweeney wouldn't know. So when you guys pay for OnlyFans, you guys think you're actually talking to her. That's another story for another day. You guys think if you meet, because it's been proven, you meet those OnlyFans girls, they don't even know who you are. Actually, they're disgusted by you. But in your fantasy land, you actually think that it's real. It's going to happen. No, guys, life is not a fairy tale. Okay, please stop watching Disney movies for whatever reason you're doing, because it doesn't happen this way. Sports is very, very unpredictable. I mean, quite literally, most of the players you guys would know that the league keeps pushing, half of them are injured now. And most of them barely played games. Like last year in the playoffs, like a bunch of the star players all got injured. And they weren't even able to play the games itself. Like Curry didn't even play the final series last year. He was just that injured. His fucking leg is about to give out. Most of these guys' bodies are about to just completely fall apart. So that's why they have to lean on some of the younger guys. And when you're going to let's say the Lakers now the question becomes in, well, OKC sweeps the Lakers. They're what, like one of the few teams still, not like few teams, I mean like less than like single digit teams to like, keep an undefeated record in the playoffs. That 4-0. I gave the Lakers a game. I did. But people always ask, like, why are you so down on them? I'm not down on them. I'm just being realistic with you. Like, realistically, I'm being honest here. They're not really the third seed. The Wolves are probably a better team. Suns beat them quite a bit throughout the regular season. Suns are probably a better team, if I'm being completely honest here. Like, they themselves kind of overachieved themselves this year specifically with their record. Like, JJ Redick did do a good job with them in the past couple of years, because guys, they don't have a good as team as the other guys do. And now it's getting to a point where, who do you have? How deep does your bench go? There's not really that many decent players they have, honestly. So outside of like good coaching, how are they going to keep skating by? I mean, I was talking to a nice lady yesterday on the show and she mentioned this for the Nuggets as well. Nuggets are going through the same thing too. Who else do you have? A lot of these teams have kind of built themselves around three people for like so long. We're now at this point where that's why you had said it last time you're on. We're going to get a big we're going to get a big offseason. There's going to be some awesome moves coming up.
Yep.
Giannis might be going somewhere. Well, maybe. Just like my dad, he might be in my life, but we'll see where he goes. Jamal Murray, Aaron Gordon, rumors going to the Heat. I mean, that'd be pretty spicy right there. Not would it make them win the championship? Probably not. But that's better than what they have right now. Because what do they have right now? 2 bags of Funyuns and a Coke. That's better than that.
There's going to be a lot this season. I think Giannis is definitely going to move. I wouldn't be surprised. The Rockets are going to shop Kevin Durant around. I don't really know what you can get for him. The Nuggets are in a situation where, again, it's something we talked about a couple times. That if you're not familiar, the NBA has all sorts of salary cap restrictions where it's not like the NFL where it's like a hard cap, if you will, but they've started to build stuff around it where it's really difficult to keep a team together for 3, 4, even 5 seasons, and the Nuggets are sort of dealing with that where they committed a lot of money to Murray and Jokic, which makes a ton of sense, but also committed a lot of money to Christian Braun, which could go either way. A lot of money to Aaron Gordon, who's great, but is hurt a lot. So you're going to watch these teams really struggle to sort of build up and find ways to sort of renew this, because at the end of the day, the NBA is one of the more predictable leagues. Given the way the sport is set up, where the best players really do define things, and the best of 7 series generally leads to the better team winning. If you go back and look, basically the expected title winning team was either the favorite to win the championship or one of the favorites to win the championship basically every season if you go back. And, again, there are a couple that stick out, the Raptors, but once they acquired Kawhi Leonard, they were one of the favorites to win. The Mavericks running through with Nowitzki, that was a surprise. They weren't expected to be that good. You tend to see it every year. And it's one of those things where just because there's a lot of good players doesn't mean there's a lot of good teams. The NBA at the end of the season, like most leagues, like any league, there's usually 2, 3, maybe 4 teams that really have a chance to win, and everyone else is just trying to, see if we can get lucky. And you've got your Lakers roster up here. I think it'll be a fascinating offseason for them. A lot of these guys are not under contract coming into next year. Luka and Reeves are under contract. LeBron, I think, can pick up a player option. He's always someone who signs basically a 1-year deal with his option the next year. So we'll kind of see what he does. There's been a lot of talk of him moving, but the problem is where. I just don't know what opportunity, what team is going to be able to clear enough salary cap space to sort of bring him in. There's a lot of talk of him going to Golden State. That would be interesting. Maybe he finds a way back in Cleveland, especially if Cleveland has a tough end of their season. So, yeah. And again, this is a Lakers team that was originally sort of built for LeBron and Anthony Davis. And then all of a sudden, Luka Doncic is just sort of gifted to you overnight, and didn't really have enough last offseason to rearrange it. Again, the big move was sort of get DeAndre Ayton because you needed a center, and he's been okay, but he is someone that I don't really feel great about. So we'll see. Again, your Lakers are going to have an interesting offseason. They have a lot of cap space, and it's a marquee franchise. It's a place that people want to go. Everyone always talks about free agency, like everyone has a chance. Well, I promise you, the Milwaukee Bucks are going to have a lot harder time signing free agents than the Los Angeles Lakers, folks.
God, and you're right. And the thing that comes along with a lot of this is I don't think a lot of people actually understand some of the contracts these guys sign initially to get to where they're at. And you go like, wait a minute, this guy's been here a long. Yeah, guys, in LeBron years, I know a lot of you guys bring up most of the teams he's been on, like the Cavs he's been on the Heat. He's obviously been on the Lakers for a while at this point. He's been on the Lakers for a while at this point. It's now going to be going on now 7 years, actually. So a lot of people go, well, if you've been on a franchise for so long, wouldn't you want to leave? That all just depends. It depends on where do you think the direction they're heading in? Do they have the players coming in that'll give you a nice, regular season, nice chance to make the finals, nice playoff run? And if you're looking at this in the future, so people bring up the biggest rumor, he might be going to the Warriors. The problem with going to the Warriors is you brought it up last time. What do the Warriors have that they can offer the Lakers, though? And if LeBron goes there, LeBron probably knows that most of their players are always injury prone due to Steve Kerr's coaching style a lot, because he plays them in a lot of.
They're all old.
Yeah, and they're all old too. So going to the Warriors, he would have to be essentially kind of going on a project. What was the old what was the old Sixers motto? Like, trust the process or whatever.
Process, baby.
Yeah, gotta trust the process. It's like, I don't know if the Warriors would be like a good immediate situation for him to go to, because that sounds like a disaster that they're still trying to work through. People say he'd go to the Cavs. He could. I actually always said this, though. He probably returns to the Cavs in his final year to win a championship. They probably, use up a lot of their cap space to get him a nice team for his final year. But right now, guys, the Cavs, depending on how their series goes against the Detroit Pistons, who knows what they're going to do, honestly. And they just got James Harden. And imagine that, LeBron James and James Harden and Donovan Mitchell on the same team. That would be, you would think that's somewhat good enough to probably win a title, maybe in a couple of years if you were to go there. But given LeBron's contracts throughout the years, he's signed always big money. Does he take a pay cut? Because to be fair, a lot of people brought this up. Does he take a pay cut to stay here to free up some space to get a few more better guys to help him? I don't know, honestly.
He could, and that's a nice part of him being a free agent. If he wants to, he can opt out of his contract and then sign for a minimum. That makes it a lot easier for him to sneak in places. And at the end of the day, like you said, he is looking for a place to try to win another championship. That's what everybody's looking for. Mm-hmm. And it's tough because He's not going to get on the Spurs. He's not going to get on the Thunder. So what's left?
No,
What other teams are left that could possibly be that good? And
he can go to
LeBron's
the Suns.
LeBron's going to make any team he joins better, but he is not going to be the one to take that team to a championship level. He is not going to take Cleveland from being maybe a team that could win the East to maybe a team that could beat the Thunder, maybe a team that could beat the Spurs. Same thing with the Warriors. He will make them better. He will fit in there nicely, but it's still not a team that is going to compete with San Antonio and the Thunder long term. And again, that's tough. I get the idea, like he wants to play. He's going to play. He's going to go somewhere. So I think it will come down to a place that's comfortable, a place that he enjoys playing at, and we'll see what happens. Again, I think he'll probably stay with the Lakers. That makes the most sense. He wants to play with his son. The team will still be really solid. He got comfortable with these guys towards the end of the year, but it's a fun thing to talk about. I don't think it actually matters in terms of the grand scheme of defining next season of the NBA.
Right. And when you're looking at some of these other players, so like LeBron, you are right. He could opt into a contract that would potentially allow him to be because I don't think he opts into a contract that allows him to be traded either, because he had a no trade clause for his contract this year.
If he opts in, then they have to trade him basically because they need to get that money off the books. If he opts out, he can go sign with anybody as a free agent. The money's going to be tough to match, but at the end of the day, teams can figure it out. And again, it's the other thing too. Like, do you really want to trade real assets for what might be 1 year of LeBron James? That's why I expect him to either stay in Los Angeles or opt out and maybe take a smaller deal somewhere else, find a way to sneak in for, again, what may be his last season, which is just, it's crazy to think he could play even more than this, but he might. But we really don't know.
I think this man retires at 50. I think he wants to have the record of the oldest player to ever play the game. I think he's going to have the 50 years. Because, he always does that. He's always like, oh, I don't really know. I'll have to see about it. It's like, dude, you're going to play. What are you talking about? Like, give it a few months of vacation with the family. He's like, you know what? Like, you start thinking about it. You're like, I kind of, because I don't know. A lot of people do that when they retire. They're like, they always think grass is greener on the other side. I couldn't imagine LeBron sitting on the sidelines watching all the guys play and go, I could do that better than him. I could do that better than him. Players like that, competitive, always think that he's staying here for a while, guys. At the minimum, he's retiring at 45. So I'm saying by 2031, he retires.
So you think he has another 2-3 seasons left?
Yeah.
I've always been of the mindset that he's going to kind of keep going season to season until the NBA has talked about trying to build some league in Europe or expand there. And LeBron has always been part of those talks because he wants an opportunity to be part of ownership. One of the things they talk about, there's potential expansion in the NBA. They're thinking about possibly bringing a team to Seattle, bringing a team to Las Vegas. One of the big parts about that would be maybe trying to get LeBron a small ownership stake in one of those teams. So he is someone who I agree. If people always talk about retirement and I'm just going to sit on the couch all day. Anyone who's seen really successful people retire, they just kind of stop doing what they were doing. They find something else to you don't lose that conquer the world energy. And he could still keep playing NBA basketball. He makes a ton of money doing it. He's in good a shape as anybody. Again, he's 42 years old. He played, I think, the most games of anybody on the Lakers this year, of any of the serious big name players they had. And he's not LeBron anymore. He's not one of the 10 best players in the NBA anymore. He's one of the 20 best. He's one of the 25 best. That's still pretty cool. And it's just, I think, a matter of how much longer he wants to sort of keep going through this, having to deal with everyone treating him as if he should still be, the best player in the NBA, which is, again, just, I think, an outrageous burden to put on himself. I tend to agree with you. I think he's going to play at least 2 seasons, maybe a little bit more than that. But at some point, he's going to move forward. And I think that is in a way where he's still playing basketball. He's still, again, maybe involved in some sort of European team or leading, some sort of new franchise or something like that. He's not going anywhere.
Yeah, and I think people also have to understand when you stay with the franchise so long, and because in his mind, he already got them trophies. He got them an NBA Cup, if they count that as something, and if they count his ring in 2020, which they definitely do, they hang it up as a banner, so they definitely.
It's a real championship. I'm not having any conversation about that. He won all the games. They won the title. Everybody can just shut the hell up about that. I'm so sick of that. It's such a stupid narrative.
Yeah, and it's one of these things where you go and like, oh, because to be fair, guys, he did win stuff for them. So it was like he came over here and it was an absolute complete failure. It's like he did get them something.
Wow.
And then he goes, because every year you have to kind of reassess and go, are these guys, can we actually do it? Because I know in the back of his head, he's always thinking like, can we actually, because he's used to like, I people bring up his record. He's had a lot of success in his career with the kind of record he has. Obviously, the Heat success he had. Obviously, he had the Cavs success. He wants to be the final guy lifting the trophy with all the guys. That's in his mind success. And you keep looking at this year to year. It's like, well, is he okay with just getting swept in the second round of playoffs, bounced in the first round? I think if they were making the conference finals consistently, and like when they lost to the Nuggets of some few years back, I think that is somewhat good because at least you're in the finals of some sort. But getting bounced out in the first early rounds, there's no way he accepts that. And I think you got to start looking and being like, okay, what are the other pieces do we have here? It's like, well, you have Luka. Great. Well, he needs to make sure he's in better shape constantly. Austin Reeves has this. It's been odd for him, this playoff series, right? He started off so bad. He did play better as it went on, but it's like one of those like too little, too late things. It kind of just came in so late for him. But he did. I will say at least that last game, at least they went out swinging. It was way better to watch that than their last game last year against the Timberwolves where they just completely got ran over. I'd rather you play your heart out and at least go out that way. If they play Bronny James, the game's obviously over, as you know. Luke Kennard, I don't know why he didn't get a lot more time in the playoffs to play. I feel like he didn't really get much time at all.
He can't guard. He's basically a cone on that end of the floor. It's one of those things. One of the most important parts about the NBA is you need to have guys who can be on the floor defensively and at least maybe do something offensively. Kennard's a great shooter, one of the best shooters in the NBA, but defensively, he just gets abused. And it's one of those things. It's one of the reasons Rockets fans were so frustrated because it's like, why are we not just attacking Kennard every time? Why aren't we telling Amen Thompson to go after him over and over and over again? And the Thunder just did that. They basically played him off the floor. And at the end of the day, you look at this team. Luka's incredible. Again, he's had those hamstring issues for years. I would hope that he would find a way to work through that. Again, you're playing with LeBron James, the healthiest athlete probably in NBA history. I would maybe try to figure out what he's doing. Austin Reeves is a nice player. He was very clearly struggling after a long break coming back from injury. He's good. He's probably the second best player on a really good team. Maybe he would be, if he's the third best player on your team, you have a great team. But that's kind of the thing here. Luka is great. And with LeBron and Reeves, you've got a lot of duplicity in terms of what everyone's trying to do. And it's a lot of money, right? Again, with the salary cap, you can really only pay three guys a ton. If those are your three guys, you're very limited in what you're doing. So again, I'm curious to see during the offseason, do they think of moving Reeves? Do they kind of ask LeBron to leave to open up some cap to get some more depth here and a little bit more size? Because if you got Luka, you got a chance. You really do. He is one of those guys where
he is that X factor.
Any team you put him on immediately has a chance to be interesting and compete. Now, do I think they're better than the Thunder? No. Do I think they beat the Thunder in the series? No. But if Luka's healthy, who knows? There's at least a couple ways here to sort of shake things up. The door cracks open slightly more.
Right. And you look, DeAndre Ayton. Sorry, buddy. I've never really liked you anyway. So if you were gone, I wouldn't miss you. Just like my dad. I wouldn't notice if you were gone, and I wouldn't miss you. Rui Hachimura and Marcus Smart. Keep them. They prove themselves. They're fine players. These are nice assets you have. It's not like they have nothing. It's like, make sure to build around at least some of the assets you have. Jake LaVeria, I don't really know. To be fair, guys,
again, it's okay. Everyone on this team besides Reeves, Luka, and LeBron is a transactional piece. Like, again, Smart's fine. Rui Hachimura's fine. LaRavia's fine.
Jackson Hayes is fine to a certain extent.
You're going to – all these guys are replaceable. There is not a single person on this list besides LeBron, Luka, and Reeves that you are thinking about more than half a second if you have an opportunity to get somebody good and you have to lose them. So, again, it'll be an interesting offseason for the Lakers. I'm curious to see what they can do. They still have some draft picks they can trade and things like that, but – it's tough. And again, a lot of it depends too on who else is a free agent. So we'll see. Again, you guys are going to have Luka next year, and pretty much that's the only thing that matters. So let's see what they can do to build around him.
Yep. Rob Pelinka is going to have his hands full with this. I mean, every team's going to have a hand. A lot of players, they've been playing for some of these teams for so long. I think they just want a different change of pace. Because sometimes that happens too. It's like, man, I've done this for so long. I want grass is greener on the other side. But we'll see how that goes. We will see how that goes.
Yeah, teams have about a 3 to 5 year life cycle, and usually what happens is there's just so much tape that other teams know what to do. You know, the league evolves every 3 to 5 years, and if you've got the same guys for 3 to 5 seasons, you've kind of missed out on one particular evolution, and that's what we see time and time again. I mean, we're watching it with the Cavs right now, this Nuggets team and things like that. Like, everybody knows what they want to do. We have 3 to 4 years of tape on this. We know what they're going to try to do. We can find a way to defend that. And why they have had the same guys, the rest of us have been getting more athletic, have been getting bigger, have been finding ways to sort of improve things. So you want continuity, you want consistency, but you have to continually be willing to build around the edges to improve things while you go along, or else, you kind of get stuck in the mud. You fall behind.
Oh, and we also have some news. Sorry, guys. I was just looking to find it right now before we get back to the playoff discussion. The Warriors head coach, we were talking about the Warriors last time you were here. We're like, what are they going to do? Because Steve Kerr's contract's up. A lot of these guys' contracts are up. Do they really have a team? Their players are all injured. Draymond Green is arguing with Charles Barkley on fucking Inside the NBA. Good Lord. To be fair, Charles did get the last laugh when he was on one of those shows, and he was like, well, if the Warriors were a good team, he wouldn't be on the show with us. Just perfect comeback. I love it. But I will say this about the Draymond Green and Charles Barkley conversation they had on Inside the NBA. I will say this, guys. Sometimes you do that when you have shows. Some people just don't mesh very well. And I always felt like, no offense to the people they've had on the show, I've always felt like, minus like one person here or there, I just would say don't do the show. And I love those guys. I like the show a lot. It's very entertaining, very fun. I even model some of the way we do some of the things here on both our shows after what they do. You got to make the show fun and entertaining, but you don't need to bring him. Draymond Green would be better if you brought him on the regular ESPN broadcasts. Not First Take, the other one they do with oh my god, I forget, like Kendrick Perkins that they do. Yeah. I just don't think he fits that vibe that they have. I don't think he has that style of humor that they're looking for. You don't have to bring on a former player because he was a former player. You don't have to do that. It'd be better if you, because their show is kind of known for having a good vibe. And
it's engagement farming. They know when they bring Draymond on, he's going to say something stupid. Right. Everyone's going to talk about it. That's all you're doing. It's just, I'm just disappointed in Draymond. He just continues to embarrass himself. It's just, he's, for somebody who I thought was very smart, it just seems to be going about this stuff like an idiot. But Kerr signed up for 2 years. That's great. That leads him to leave. We've got at least another 2 years of Curry and these guys all together, because I think that's what we're going to see. I think Kerr and Curry are going to be together. And when one of them is ready to be done, the other one will wrap things up here. So not surprised to see this. It's good for the Warriors again. He's a great coach. He does a good job with that team. And we'll just see, what can they do? They've got Jimmy Butler's expiring contract, some nice draft picks that they can sort of move around and use here. We'll see what they can do to try to, again, get a little more help for Steph Curry. And not they're going to win a championship, but let's at least try to have some fun Warriors basketball games.
Yeah, it's just kind of sad not seeing some of these storied franchises not be in the mix to be, at least making some exciting basketball. Steve Kerr agrees to 2-year deal to remain with Warriors. Oh, okay, let me make sure this is bigger. Oh my God, not smaller, bigger. There you go. Freaking internet. No, Chrome. I sound like that guy Dinkle. It's like Timmy Turner's dad for our parents. Dinkelberg, Chrome. No, guys, the joke, they land. I'll be a comedian. I'm joking, guys. After exactly 3 weeks of deliberation, Steve Kerr agreed to a 2-year contract to return as Golden State Warriors coach, reaching terms to continue the partnership into what will be his 13th season and beyond in the position. God damn, you've been here for 13 years? That's a long ass time. Dan.
Yeah. People don't realize how long that run has been. It's just crazy how quick all this feels. And it's nuts.
Dan Eveloff and Rick Smith of Priority Sports told ESPN on Saturday the deal will keep Kerr as the highest paid coach in the NBA. League sources said he made $17.5 million last season. Also, I want you guys to also keep this in mind too. The reason why I truly think they wanted to re-sign him was because they genuinely probably thought it wasn't his fault that every single player got injured. No. But a big problem with his coaching is that he does overplay the players a lot, though. And that can also be a thing.
No, he doesn't. I don't know.
You don't think he does?
You mentioned that earlier. If you go back and look, most of the Warriors guys play 30 minutes or less a night. He comes from that a Greg Popovich coaching tree where he understands during the regular season how to keep everybody healthy. It's just everyone on the team is in like the last 2 to 3 years of their season. You've got Curry, who's at the end of his career. Draymond is at the end of his career. Their big acquisition was Al Horford, who probably should have retired by now. Jimmy Butler hasn't been healthy in 5-6 seasons. I'm trying to think of just some of the other guys they have on that.
They have
Porzingis is someone who is injured all the time. So Curry is pretty good about keeping people's minutes down, but at the end of the day, it doesn't matter.
Oh my God,
some of these guys, you're just not going to get full runs out of them.
I forgot. Wrong. Jeez, myself. They have a problem with Kerr for not developing talent. It's like, I have that. It's like, develop who? I don't know who you're supposed to develop. Pods. Sometimes
Pod's just become a pretty solid player. Yeah. People look at Kuminga, they look at Moody, and then the James Wiseman pick is basically like the 3 draft picks they look at. And like Wiseman, that was clearly just a bad pick. He is someone who basically went from being the number 2 pick in the draft to out of the league in about 3 or 4 seasons. Like he's not even playing in the G League, folks. I'm not even sure he plays overseas. And then Kuminga is someone who immensely talented, but does not play basketball the way the Warriors want to play. The Warriors have a style of they want the ball to be moving. They almost don't ever want anyone to dribble. You got to get the ball up the court, but once you do, pass. Kuminga is very much a catch and hold the ball sort of guy. And Moody's a nice player. He's developed well, but he's probably is what he was supposed to be, a decent backup, an okay starter from time to time. But yeah, it's something I roll my eyes at. Like, oh, okay, he wasn't able to develop Wiseman, who apparently stinks. He wasn't able to develop Moody, who wasn't expected to be that great. And then Kuminga, we'll see what happens. He had some nice moments with the Hawks in the second half of the season.
But we'll see how long that lasts, though. Like, anyone can shine for like a small amount.
It's not like somebody left the Warriors and then became an all-star all of a sudden.
Well, yeah, they're not the Clippers. They don't give away Shea, who ended up just winning everything. Kerr had multiple meetings with controlling owner Joe Lacob and general manager Mike D'Olivi in the past 2 weeks, discussing everything from offensive philosophy to long-term outlook of the roster to the bigger picture direction of the franchise, and eventually the contract terms in it would require to bring Kerr back. Quote, "It was never going to be about money," one team source said. "We had to make the best basketball decision." Well, I mean, I'll be honest here. It does come down to money for some of these guys. If they offer this
Lacob's going to pay Kerr whatever he wants. We're talking about Joe Lacob. He's one of the richest people on planet Earth. If you don't know who Joe Lacob is, if you've ever heard of a little company called Oracle, Joe Lacob used to basically own Oracle and was one of the founders of that company. So I think what they mean by money is nothing. We just wanted to talk Kerr back into coaching because we're going to pay him whatever he wants. So Steve, let's make sure you still want to coach and you give us a number. And frankly, $17.5 million they gave him. I guess as Kerr said 15 and like handed him 17.5. It's one of those things in the NBA. It's frustrating. And it's why a lot of people are talking about the Trailblazers owner who has been notoriously cheap since buying them in the middle of last season. You can't, there's a limited amount of money you can spend on players, but there is no limit to what you can spend on training staffs and coaches. And Mark Cuban was one of the first guys to do that. When he bought the Mavericks, he threw a ton of money into making the locker room nicer, taking the chairs that the players sit on the floor. As crazy as it sounds, NBA teams did not have like special chairs for the players. They were just sitting in the same chairs everybody else is, because everyone is between 6'2" and 7 foot tall,
right,
and things like that. He had the highest paid coaches, the biggest training staffs of any team during that run. And that's why you saw them really kind of maximizing what they're doing here. So for Lacob, this is easy. He spent a ton of money building that arena. It's been great. He is happy to continue to pay the luxury tax for all these guys. And again, if Kerr wanted $20 million a year, he could have gotten 20. If he wanted 25, they'd have given him 25. And that's what they mean by money is not a thing. Kerr was they're trying to talk Kerr into coaching to make sure he still wants to coach. They'll pay him whatever he needs.
Yeah. And I just want to let you guys know from Steve Kerr's point of view, if they literally went, okay, you're not making 17 million anymore to making 5 million, he definitely would go no. I think that would be part of the discussion, right? If you're used to making this much money and someone lowballs you that hard because they're cheap, that would just almost feel insulting, which obviously, as you said, wasn't going to happen. But Steve Kerr definitely wants to get paid for dealing with all this Warriors bullshit he's been dealing with the last year. So since the beginning of this week, it has been generally known within the franchise that Kerr intended to return, but the loose ends were tied up Friday night and Saturday morning. Team sources told ESPN, keeping Kerr in charge of the fading days and potentially final chapter of the Stephen Curry era in Golden State. Because with Curry's contract, he's contracted until what, like a few more years, I think.
Well, they said here it's 2 years, so next season and the season after.
So 2029, essentially. Yeah. This was not a foregone conclusion. Kerr hinted at possibly departing in October, announcing in training camp that he wouldn't seek a contract extension and would let the final season of his deal play out before deciding on his future. The injury ravaged 37-45 Warriors finished as a 10th seed in the Western Conference and were eliminated by the Phoenix Suns in the play-in bracket, ending a stretch of disappointment that had Kerr and the franchise theorizing whether a split could be best. Quote, "I love coaching, but I get it," Kurt said the night the Warriors were eliminated in Phoenix. Quote, "These jobs all have an expiration date. There is a run that happens, and when the run ends, sometimes it's time for new blood and new ideas." Warriors management did some light information gathering on possible replacements if Kerr left, but the major figures, Lacob, Dunleavy, Curry, never desired a divorce. Oh man, it sounds like a marriage here with some of these people. No, I never intended to leave. I'm never leaving. We're married forever. You have me until the end of time.
Well, it's you know what you're reading here. They're trying to find a way to turn this into a story. Really, what this should be is like a half a paragraph article, but ESPN wants you to go down, and so they get more click-throughs and stuff. And there's just a lot in here that's like, okay, we're just trying to, make
Curry,
it feel like there's
I want my coach to be happy. No, Steph, we think you want to murder in Minecraft. We think you want to murder him. No, Curry, we definitely want you guys to have a decent coach. Good Lord, man. Okay.
Yeah, so it's a nice story. We'll see. Again, the Warriors team's going to be really fun, and it's just I admire again Lacob and the team basically deciding like, no, we're not going to trade Steph Curry for draft picks. No, we're not going to trade Draymond for draft picks. We're not going to do that. We're not going to tear this thing down like everybody else kind of wants to do. Yes, we know we're almost certainly never going to win a championship until we sort of get past that, but Curry's always going to be a Warrior. He will never be anything else. This is the team. This is what's going to happen. And when they leave, we'll figure something else out.
That is true. And you have all the, records here for Steve Kerr as a coach and what he's done. And we'll get to this last part here because the lottery's coming up. Everyone's talking about the lottery. The next important
it just finished on Sunday.
Yep. The next important date for the Warriors is the NBA lottery Sunday night. They have the 11th best odds, giving them a 9.4% chance of moving into the top 4 of a loaded draft and a 77.6% chance of remaining in the 11th slot. The Warriors will then shift their attention to improving the roster via free agency and trades with Kerr back and Curry under contract for one more season and expected to have extension conversations later this summer. League sources said the front office intends to be aggressive in rearranging the team to better compete for a playoff spot in a crowded conference. Yep, there's going to be keep in mind, it's not just them. A lot of these teams are going to be, competing for trying to get certain players. But like I said before, there's a lot of restrictions when it comes to a lot of this stuff. It's not just like, hey, I want Giannis. Yeah. Well, it's not just how that works. It's not like going out to the store and buying a box of cereal, definitely not like that.
Also, and they made a couple big offers for Giannis. It's just, they don't have a really exciting package. The draft picks for them are mediocre. It's a tough spot.
Give me one sec here. Shams had put out the Milwaukee Bucks are open for business on trade calls and offers.
Yeah, no shit. In other news, water is wet, the sun is hot, people.
It's crazy. Didn't we just go through this in before the trade deadline window?
We went through it before last season, during the season, before the trade deadline, after the trade deadline, and now we're going to have to do it again. I like Giannis. I want Giannis to go somewhere where he has a chance to
Me
win.
too,
He is
yeah.
still, when he is healthy, he is still one of the 3 to 5 best players in the league. He is one of those guys that, similar to Luka, if you put Giannis on your team, you are suddenly in the conversation to win a championship, no matter who else is on that team. However, we'll see. Tall, big guys like him generally don't age well. He is definitely on the downside of his career. He has had several back and calf and Achilles injuries, and those are all things that with age tend not to get better. So it's going to be interesting to see who acquires him. I still think he's incredibly valuable. Teams will be fighting over the opportunity to have him. We'll see. I just didn't. It's one of those things again. Like
we hear about this so often, and it's like, for me, when it comes to Giannis now, I told you guys on the show a lot. Whenever I hear about him, at this point, if I'm gonna cover this guy again, as far as like going to a different team, I need to see that shit confirmed by this guy. Confirmed he's leaving, because the Bucks, either the Bucks are really the Bucks have to be in the same kind of mindset that the Miami Heat guy's in, where he's saying like basically, okay, we're trying to do this. And it's like, but you're not trying to do this though. What? Like, because we keep hearing about you're trying to do it, but for some reason it never closes the deal, right? We're always hearing about Giannis leaving, and then there's always these moments where maybe the Bucks do want to get rid of him, but they're not getting a good enough offer. But just say, hey, the Bucks are not getting good enough offers to offload Giannis, which would make sense though. If you're not getting a good offer for him, you don't just trade your best player for just 2 bags of chips and 2 cans of Coke. Like, obviously, don't do that. But it's one of these things where we constantly hear about this guy leaving, and it's like, I need to hear this guy's left the team to really believe it. It's like, okay, the Bucks want maybe to move on, but is it going to happen? And it's like, no? Okay, then what the fuck are we doing with this guy then? Because we keep having the story pop up, and what's going to be the same story next year? He resigns. They play him before February. Oh, I'm hearing rumors he might be leaving. I'm also hearing rumors that I might be dating Sydney Sweeney and Ana de Armas. Just all these rumors you hear. Do not believe everything you guys read on the internet. It might be revealed that I'm dating Scarlett Johansson in a few days on Twitter. You never know, guys. You never know. Noops, is there a chance I'm dating ScarJo? Is there the chance it's going to happen? Okay, so, yeah, he's already just shutting that down. No, just God, no.
None.
Oh, goodness.
Sorry, bud.
Is there a chance that I become Doctor Strange? There's always these chances, right? Oh, damn it.
No.
Let me have hope. Let me dream. But
nope. Not going to do it.
What? Can I be Iron Man? Can I be a hot, sexy, good-looking billionaire?
Probably not.
God, Lord. See,
I mean, maybe, I guess, you know what? I misspoke. You could be Doctor Strange or Iron Man if you wanted to run, say, some sort of community play where you guys do the Avengers at like a community theater kind of thing. Then yes, in that scenario, you could be Doctor Strange or Iron Man.
Good Lord. All these people, it's really weird how a lot of the fans talk about that too. Hey, bro, just get Giannis. Why do you guys constantly use the word just as if like it's going to happen like going to the store and buying like a bag of fries? What is...
No, I just we'll go pick up Giannis.
Hey, Laker fan. Lakers like, why don't they just go get Steph Curry from the Warriors? Yeah, just go get and what do the Warriors get? Dalton Connect, Jake LaVeria, who the Lakers bought for a nickel. Guys, the Lakers got Jake LaVeria for a nickel. I don't know what you guys see. Using that word just is so cringe sometimes. Hey, just go get like all the best players and my team will be winning championships. Yeah, no shit. Do you not think all these other billionaire owners thought the same thing too? Hey, we'll just kind of get all the best players on my team and we'll just start winning. Crazy thing. This is a crazy thing no one understands. The way you think sometimes, everyone else thinks it too. Just depends on who can execute on their strategy better. Just pointing that out, honestly. So, and like you also mentioned with OKC, it's like, and I get it. The refereeing for them can be a little biased, as a lot of people have noticed. But their team is still really good. The problem is, like, even when the refs don't even help them, they're outscoring people insanely hard. Like, just last night, Shea was getting double teamed, like you said. Didn't even matter. It didn't even matter. It feels like Shea and Kate Cunningham are just those players where anytime they're just on the floor, you just kind of feel like the ball's going in. Like, how many shots did Shea even miss last night? He missed, like, what, 3? 3 shots total out of how many he took? Like, I forgot how many he took on the stat board. But it felt like the ball never missed for this guy. Never missed.
It generally doesn't.
Yeah, and that's the problem. Is like, sometimes Oh, there's this saying in League of Legends this guy Jad had as a caster. Sometimes the other team's just better. And that's the sucky part about it is.
Right.
Yeah. Sometimes, and that's the thing is a lot of people think like, oh, because you didn't win, that means you didn't make any good decisions though. I usually have the opposite mindset for owners too. So owners will go, we didn't win this season. That doesn't mean you made all the wrong decisions though. That's not how that works at all though. You could actually make all the right decisions and still lose. I tend to let fans know this too. Teams can make all the right decisions sometimes. But how can you beat the ultimate end bosses if they're just that much better than you? I don't know why this doesn't translate in people's brains. Like the Spurs right now, a lot of people think the Spurs aren't going to win because they're a young team. They seem to be winning pretty good right now. Like some of these narratives don't even stick. Like Spurs are not going to do well in the playoffs because they're a young team. Based off like what? Have you guys been watching the game? They're pretty good. This team is not bad. Like, yeah, they had an easier first-round opponent, the Trailblazers. Yeah, but that's expected, though. Trailblazers are nothing. They have, like, with Drew Holiday and that one Israeli guy. That's it. That's their team. Like, that's not beating them any. They're not a strong team at all. And now they're playing up against the Timberwolves, and the Timberwolves are a legit team. They're pretty good. And what did you think about when Wembyana elbowed one of that guy? About that guy in the neck, he did it. I don't think he did it. On the camera, it's not like LaMelo. It looks like he kind of made.
As someone who plays basketball for a long time and was a very physical player like that, now I will also say that it drives me nuts how people react to slow motion videos as if what had happened in slow motion. Like, make sure that if you're watching a replay and you see the slow mo, go get the full game action one, because a lot of times things look different. But even in regular basketball time, he very much, and I get it. Wembanyama has been getting elbowed and pushed around and knocked, for every single game of this series, whether he has the ball or not. And some might be fouls, some might not be. And I think if you even go look at what the scene before that, he gets killed trying to get that ball and doesn't get a foul call. But he definitely sort of you could see he turns, looks over his shoulder, sees Reed, decides he's going to swing his elbow around. Now, maybe he thought he was going to hit him in the shoulder or something like that, not the neck or the head, but it very much showed a level of frustration for him, which makes sense. He's a young kid. I think he's 20, 21 years old. This is his first real run in the playoffs. This is the first time he has had a big physical veteran team like Minnesota be like, all right, we're going to fuck that dude up. Our plan for every one of these games is hit him. Every time a shot goes up, lock him on his ass. Every time anything goes on, hit him as hard as you can. Right. And it's definitely something I'm sure he regrets. And I think that, he probably will apologize, or maybe he'll say something about it at some point. Or maybe he won't, because I don't think the Timberwolves are that bothered by it. Like, they know kind of what's going on. Yes, he shouldn't have wound up like that. It definitely was a bad thing. But, we go forward. Everything's fine. It happens all the time. It doesn't happen all the time, obviously. But it was very clear in that moment he should have been kicked out of the game, and he was. And I'm glad they didn't suspend him for the next game. I thought that would have been a little bit too far. But young guys have to learn. They have to learn how to play NBA playoff basketball. They have to learn what some of these bigger dudes are willing to do, because Wembanyama is the most talented player in all those games. It doesn't mean he's going to win. He still has to learn how. He still has to learn what these teams are going to try to do to him. And, coming out of this series, if they do win it, which I think they will, it'll be big for him. But it's a one-time thing, and I can't imagine he'll let that happen again.
Yeah, and it's like, guys, I saw that happen, and I was like, damn, Wemby, you just pulled a LaMelo ball. Wemby, don't be a LaMelo. No one likes that. And like, you could see when it happens in real times, it's like he does look at him. Like, I could understand if he gets hit in the head and he's just like, he can't even see where the fuck he's at, and you move. I understand. But when you're looking at some of these player reactions on the camera and you're watching them not in slow motion, like you said, don't watch it in slow motion, he looks at him dead in his eye and does that. That's intentional. I'm sorry, LaMelo. I'm sorry, Wemby. That's like, I have to be consistent. I hated when LaMelo did that. I did not like it when he did that. And I think he's better than that. I think he's better than that to be doing that. He doesn't need to do that. Like, I think.
No.
And keep in mind, the Timberwolves, their players were holding him. They should have got all technicals too. It wasn't just like it was all his fault. But as you guys know, with refereeing in some of these freaking games you go to, refereeing is going to be pretty biased in a lot of these. And that's what Donovan Mitchell said last night in the player interviews. He's like, you know what? It's probably going to happen, but you just have to play better. And I agree with that. There's going to be biased refs. I'm sorry, guys. It's going to happen. You just have to play through it. I
think it's as simple as there's physical basketball, and then there's trying to hurt someone.
Yes.
As someone, again, who played a lot of basketball, I made it basically through some of the higher levels of high school basketball. Might have been able to play in college, but passed on that opportunity because I would have been a bench
with
kid.
LeBron noobs? What?
The thing is, like, I'd have been a bench kid, and it turns out you can't smoke weed and play basketball in college. So I made my decision. But I was a big guy. I played down low, and I definitely paid attention when the refs were looking at when they weren't. And there were certain elbows and knees and bumps and things like that were done. And if I was Wembanyama, I'd have been finding ways during the game to get back at those guys. I'd have been stepping on Naz Reid's foot every chance I got. I'd be doing crazy shit like that. But when you catch the ball, you hold up your elbows, you look over your shoulder, and then you wind up and swing. You got caught, motherfucker.
Right? And I think Donovan Mitchell brought it up last night too after they beat the Pistons. He doesn't want to be he doesn't want to be on the team with players who kind of always nag at the refs for fouls. It's like, guys, you got to understand, like, sometimes you're not going to get every single call. And I agree. There's
almost never.
And keep in mind, I think you brought it up too. You keep nagging at the refs for calls, they're not going to give you it, even when you do justifiably earn it, actually, It
works the other way, because I was also someone, when I started playing, I was maybe a little meaner to the refs than I should have been. And I noticed that as I apologized to a couple of them, as I came up to them more with questions as opposed to complaints, things got a little bit better, and I don't think that was a surprise. And again, they're human beings, folks. They're human beings, and not that I believe that refs are trying to call fouls against guys. I think that if you're someone that's constantly bitching at the ref, they're paying more attention to you. And they're paying more attention to you, they're more likely to see you fuck shit up.
DeAndre Ayton could opt out to look for a bigger payday.
So MSK, let me tell you real quick. You've got Google up here. Go ahead and search DeAndre Ayton second contract. Go ahead, put that phrase in there, DeAndre Ayton second contract, and you will find what is one of my favorite articles to refer back to from time to time. And what you will find when you put this in, it's DeAndre Ayton, when he was drafted, was asked as the number one pick in the draft, folks, what his definition of success in the NBA would be. And it was not to win championships. It was not to be an all-star. It was not to be the greatest Phoenix Sun of all time. It was to, quote, sign his second contract. And if you look at his career and you think about that, it all sort of falls into a place. This was a guy who, when he played for the Trailblazers, didn't come to a game because, quote, his driveway was too icy.
Oh, my God.
That was it. What is going on here?
Oh, soundboards go crazy.
No, that's okay. But yeah, it's just something like you go back and look at him. He does not take his career seriously. And it's just like, it's a joke. And it's one of those things where he told us when he started the NBA, my definition of success is signing a second contract. That's it. That's all you need to know. That's all you need to know. That's everything. That's the whole story.
Do you know why I think this is hilarious? If Austin Reeves were like, I'd be like, okay, I could see your point. This is DeAndre Ayton.
Austin Reeves should go out and get his ass paid.
Yeah, but this is DeAndre Ayton. You what? What? Dude, you'd be lucky to be washing the floors in the stadium.
He was lucky to get signed by the Lakers. Like you guys signed him like
they gave him a second life, a second chance. They gave him a life
right before the season started. It wasn't like the Lakers ran out on the first day of free agency and were like, let's get DeAndre Ayton. It was like, we need a center. There are no other centers left. Shit.
We have a nickel. Shit. Well, we have two nickels because we have Jake LaVeria. Damn, fucking nickels, man. Ayton, quote, good Lord. Ayton, who certainly played to his no, I'm not reading that. I can't stomach that.
I would actually agree with that because, by the way, folks, $8.1 million is pretty close to the minimum amount he can earn.
They said he played to that amount. No, he did. He played like he was.
Well, you got to remember, $8 million to an NBA player isn't what it is to the rest of us. $8 million is like that's basically the cheapest contract they could possibly get under him. Like it's that's what I mean. It's the tone deafness of like. Yeah. I deserve more. I just went out for an entire offseason. No one called me, and the one team that did gave me the smallest contract they possibly could. Did you see the thing? He bought himself a necklace. He bought himself this huge, giant chain to because I think he gave himself that nickname. At some point, he gave him the nickname Dominatin', which would be a great nickname if he wasn't just a mediocre basketball player. So he went out to celebrate, folks. And if you haven't seen it, it's opulent. There's a lot of gold and white gold and diamonds.
It looks
it's
good,
crazy looking. Like I would like to have one of those, but I maybe wouldn't want to draw attention to the fact that I call myself dominating and have not really had more than 2 good seasons in the NBA and definitely not any in the last 5.
Oh God. It's just that when I read stuff like he definitely played. No, he didn't, guys. JJ
His
Redick
agent did.
JJ Redick quite literally said he couldn't catch the ball. As harsh as that sounds, I wasn't really wrong about that.
Yeah, in a series against a team where they need big men, Ayton played less minutes in every game. Like just, we could do hours on this if we really wanted to.
It's just the reporting surrounding that. Just my stomach. It's too early in the morning.
I try not to use the word reporting because, like, I don't know. I grew up with newspapers and reporters interviewing people and sharing real information, not just stuff where it's like a player and or their agent wants everyone to know that he wants more money.
Oh, yeah. Or the reporting goes, hey, DeAndre Ayton's favorite food is French fries. Why do we care about that? I don't know what that...
Well, if Joel Embiid said his favorite food was French fries, they'd hang him. How about that? How about that double standard?
Oh, God, man. Austin Reeves could command up to $40 million per year in free agency. Yeah, so he could...
He's a max contract guy. Someone's going to try to throw a max contract at him.
Oh, yeah. Quote, while team and league sources believe that the Lakers and Reeves will eventually land on a contract that makes sense, the door for Reeves to walk is open should he get a big offer elsewhere. Rival executives predicted Reeves could command $40 million a season due to a combination of his play, his age, perhaps most importantly, a free agent class completely devoid of players as productive as him in their prime. Keep in mind, I love this guy a lot. He's got some playoff choking he really needs to get over. To a certain extent, he's been a little bit lackluster in certain playoff moments after that great moment he had in the playoffs some years back. But he's a good player. He's actually good.
He's really only had 2 moments. And again, one of those 2 moments was this season where he comes back and he's injured. I think Reeves has been fantastic. Would I want to give him a max contract? I don't know about that. But again, I think if you're the Lakers, you kind of have to.
Yeah. But Donovan Mitchell, oh my God, last night just went off. 43 points, 5 rebounds.
Incredible player.
Awesome player. Yeah. James Harden. You know what's crazy? James Harden was probably looking at this guy and when their regular season was going like this when they were doing so bad in the Clippers, like, oh man, I want some of Donovan Mitchell. Oh my God, he's just tearing things up over there. He was rubbing his hands like Birdman. I could tell he was doing that. Freaking James Harden. Jesus Christ. All right, and that's pretty much it for all the news to come up. After winning only 20 games, the Nets fell all the way to the 6th overall pick in the draft lottery. I don't know what the Nets
happens, folks.
Like the Nets have Michael Porter Jr., but who else you got? And no one wants to go to the Nets. No one wants to go there too. And that's
the Nets are one of those teams that might offer Austin Reeves $40 million. The Nets have a ton of cap space this year, and they have some draft picks. And I don't believe they have control over their pick next year. So it's a season where the Nets, I think, are going to try to find a way not to tank. Now, do I think that they could be a good team? No. Do I think they could maybe this season's like Phoenix Suns? Where like you have a good coach, you've got some nice young players, everybody's trying real hard, sure. But the Nets are definitely going to be a really interesting team this offseason. Again, flexibility, they've got assets and things to move. So we'll see how that goes. The draft's going to be really exciting.
Stephen A says, quote, I'm taking the Knicks to win the title. We're winning the chip, as he was saying.
Well, tell Stephen A. Smith I will take that bet. However much money he wants to put on the Knicks to win the title, I'll take that bet.
He's putting it down. Hell, when Stephen A. says the Knicks, here, I'll just give him this.
Shut up, bitch. Shut up, bitch.
No, there you go, Stephen A. You
have to remember, folks, Stephen A. Smith was a bad writer for the Philadelphia Inquirer. I grew up laughing at columns he wrote in the sports section there, and now is the highest paid person, I think, in ESPN history, and it's because he gets reactions, folks. He really does. That's what he's trying to do.
He's good at doing that. I will say he's made a career at just giving an opinion, which is it's hard, but it's one of those things where it's like I want to point out like I can see why him and Skip Bayless get along, but at least he owns the fact he says retarded shit. At least he knows he's saying. Steven actually believes the crazy things he says. He actually thinks they're legitimate. I think Skip is just doing it for actually just believing how crazy shit he says. Joel Embiid, your guy, apparently reportedly hasn't been seeing eye to eye with the Sixers front office, and even had an issue with the Jared McCain trade. Per I hate these. I'm not pronouncing these names. Quote.
No, I can explain it all basically.
Okay.
The Sixers ownership group is been very cheap when it comes to contracts year over year. And it's really frustrating because they bought the team for about $400 million. It's worth at least $4 billion right now, folks.
So good investment.
The group also owns a couple different teams. I think they bought the Commanders, and I think there's one other major sports team they own. And it is a group of people that have a lot of money, but they're not really cash rich. They basically forced all their teams to try to operate underneath the salary cap. So again, the way the salary cap works in the NBA, everybody can spend up to a certain number. Now you can exceed that number with certain exceptions, but then every dollar above that number becomes $2, $3 that you then have to pay in taxes and things like that. And basically what the Sixers decided to do at the trade deadline was, instead of keeping a young piece in Jared McCain, who absolutely could have played minutes for the Sixers in the playoffs, they got a good offer from Thunder. They really did. They got a decent first-round draft pick, a bunch of second-round draft picks. McCain's going to move on to that team. He has played a lot more for them than I thought he would. But it's just a signal to the team where you look at the Sixers team and the ownership went, no, don't go out at the trade deadline and try to get somebody to help these guys and to what is a wide open East and to what is a conference that maybe could be one if the Sixers could have found one or two other guys. And we're not asking for like all-stars, just people who can play real minutes in the playoffs. And it's just frustrating, especially when you're Joel Embiid, you're someone who's constantly hurt and you're doing all this work to get yourself back to play for what? For what? You're out there working your ass off to play for a team that is unwilling to spend money, that is unwilling, to do what it takes.
Same thing that Bam's going through too. A lot of these players are even becoming more open with, hey, I'm not happy with the direction our franchise is going. And like you've said a lot of times on the show, to be fair, people need to understand I don't think players even understand the operation of how I think they understand how it all works. I'm not saying that, but I think like people have to understand that there's so many other different factors and moving pieces that are going on that it's hard to make everyone happy. Because like I said before, all players want to be on a winning championship team. Understandable, but that just doesn't always happen like that.
There's a big distinction between Bam and Embiid. What Embiid is saying here is, I am disappointed in ownership.
Yes.
What Bam was really talking about was like, we just got to find a way. This team has to be better. I'm sick of being on this team where we're fighting for a playoff position every year. He didn't come out and explicitly say anything about management or the ownership or anything like that. It was more, how do myself and my teammates take more responsibility for this and try to find a way to win? Whereas, again, Embiid is calling out an ownership group that has been notoriously cheap. If you are in the Philadelphia area and you turn on 97.5 or 94.1, those are the two talk radio stations. Now, generally, they only talk about the Eagles. If anybody who's been in Philadelphia, the Philadelphia Sports Talk Radio topics of the day are the Eagles, what the Sixers did, and what the Sixers did impacted the Eagles. Eagles updates. The Phillies still exist, and the Eagles are maybe impacted by what they're doing. More Eagles shit, and then, the Flyers. Let's just talk about the Eagles. But if you turn it on the last couple of days, they've really been trashing the ownership group, and I think rightfully so. Now, again, with the Sixers have won the title, they made a couple of those trades and made the team better? Probably not. Would we have gotten blown out by the Knicks? No. Would we have a chance to beat the Knicks? Sure. Would we then have a chance on the next round? Maybe. It shows you that, again, an ownership group did an unbelievable purchase. They bought the team for $400 million. It's worth $4 billion, and they're not willing to take any of that money and try to put it back in. They don't care. They don't care about the fans. They don't care about
with
the
team. Bulls, like you said, with the Bulls ownership, you knew immediately when they got rid of Kobe White, because he was the only thing keeping their team afloat. No offense to Giddey, Kobe White was the only person keeping your team alive. And when they got rid of him to the Hornets, well, as you guys saw, the Bulls literally tanked. Good Lord. Also, last thing to go over, because you have to head out of here very soon, 56.11% of purchases for Knicks versus Sixers Game 4 in Philadelphia are from New York and New Jersey zip codes. Good Lord, man. Do you think you have a small market? I don't think you have a small market team at all, though.
No. Philadelphia is one of the top 5-6 markets in the country, but again, I think it circles back to the kind of conversation we have about the ownership. The ownership knows that people are going to come, whether they're Sixers fans, whether they're Knicks fans. It's just crazy now, and that statistic is also flawed because there's a ton of Sixers fans in New Jersey, folks. It's hard to tell, but again, as someone that watched those two games, there were a ton of Knicks fans there. All the Knicks stars came. And it's just, that's more about the reality of the ticket world we live in, where teams can't control tickets. Like if Joel Embiid didn't want Knicks fans to come, he had to buy every ticket in the stadium and individually interview every person and make sure they don't sell them. It's just not, it's not something you can do. You can't find a way to keep these people out. So it's tough. It's one of those things like Knicks fans decided to make it a story. Fine. Like as someone who loves to behave irrationally, as someone who said, if the Sixers beat the Knicks in that series, I was going to go have a one-man parade around Madison Square Garden. Hats off to the Knicks fans. You guys won. You have lots of fun. As someone who loves going to Madison Square Garden, head to toes in Sixers shit, I give them a ton of crap. And if the Sixers lose, I get crap. The last game I won, the Sixers are playing the Knicks. They won the first quarter by like 12 points. I did not stop talking for that entire 12 minutes. Every Knicks fan around me was sick of me. And then the Knicks won the next three quarters by like 40 points. And I got back everything I put out to the world. So what I will say, Knicks fans, is if we get a chance next year, God, I hope so.
I'm just pointing out Knicks fans are pieces of shit when they were harassing that Sixers fan or whatever. Like, we're just walking. He just leaving. His team just lost. He probably doesn't feel that good. He spent all that money to fucking go there. Probably took off a few days of work. Not, guys, you understand. Sometimes people take off days of work, aren't even getting paid for it. It's just some time off to have some fun. And you know you're taking the financial loss today. For them to harass someone, fuck Nick. And I say the same thing with Philadelphia Eagles fans. They're some of the worst fans. You just stop doing that. Is so unnecessary. What they were doing to that is so unnecessary. Even in Boston, they were trying to jump one guy because he was just wearing a different. God forbid people are fans of a different team. Crazy thought. That
I try not to let small groups like that color my experience with a lot of fans because, again, you're an Eagles fan. I grew up in Philadelphia. Honestly, one of the reasons I'm not an Eagles fan is because I know too many Eagles fans. I don't know if I've told you the story yet, but the summer that the Eagles signed Saquon Barkley, who was formerly a New York Giant, one of my good friends is at the Jersey Shore walking down the boardwalk, and he sees a kid in a Saquon Barkley Giants jersey. Now, my friend is a grown man, and he takes it upon himself, a grown man, to walk over to this child and basically get down to his level and go, "You excited to see him on a winner?" The kid's dad flips. He's like, "You're the third adult today to come up to my son and say some shit." Three fully grown men. Or women, maybe it was a lady. Who knows? I just assume it's a dude. Like, Raiders fans crazy. It's crazy behavior.
Raiders fans do that here too, and I hate Raiders fans. I don't know what they're bragging about. You've been relevant ever in the last month. And man, there was a high school game because our high school team won their first championship in like 20 years, like a long 30, 20 years, something like that, some long stretch. The Raiders fans there were harassing some of the teenagers, being like, "You guys fucking suck, your ass," is throwing some of them threw beer bottles at them, like actually on the field. Like, I just want to point out, if you're a Raiders fan, that's already an L. You shouldn't even walk outside with gear on. I think I'd be embarrassed of that. The fact that grown adults doing that, that's just
they should be arrested. You should be arrested. It's one of those things where, like, and it's a shame. Like, I coached a middle school and a high school team for a little while, coaching basketball, and like, your biggest distraction is what the parents are doing on the other side of the floor. There were multiple times during games where a referee came over to me and went, if they don't stop what they're doing, your team's getting a technical. And I had to go over and like address the parents. And that's before you even consider parents coming over. We had this one little girl. She came to a game, was absolutely sick, clearly had the flu. Probably shouldn't have been there. Her parents brought her anyway. She wanted to play. We let her warm up, and after warm up, she came over to myself, my dad were the coaches, and looked at both of us and went, I don't have it today. I really don't. And one of our big things as coaches was, if you come and you show up to practice, you're going to play. And we got to the end of the game, and the parents came running over, and they're yelling at us. And the two of us are just like looking at them like, we let her warm up. She came over and said she couldn't play today. She could barely breathe. Like, I'm going to be honest. And my dad got really mad at me at this at the time. I looked at the parents and went, honestly, what I want to ask you guys is, what's she doing here? Like, did she seem like she was healthy enough to be around people today? And like, it's just, it's like crazy. It's
skills are in question. Yeah.
It's ridiculous. Some of the stuff you see, like you said, at high school, middle school, at every single level. And it's just like, I hate to say that we should have cops at these games, but like, if you're an adult and you're throwing stuff at high school kids or middle school kids, like it's gross. Like, just
there was one, I don't know if it was in Philly or was somewhere on the East Coast. I think it was a big story where it was a black family, and the little baby they had was on the side cheering for their brother and sister. It was like one of these really little league basketball games, and the white lady principal moved the little girl, just moved her a little bit because obviously you don't want her getting trampled, God forbid. And the mom hit the principal in the face. It was a big story. It was like, she was like, don't handle my kid like that. That was your kid. She want the little girl getting trampled.
Don't abandon your child.
Yeah. How about actually being a good parent? How about that? Moms are always saying, I'm such a good mom. Are you sure? I don't know. Stories like you always say, always point otherwise. But all right. We'll be back here maybe in a few weeks, so you get some free time. We'll cover the last, best of sevens of the season. Man, it's almost over. We have just the conference semifinals to go through, then semis, conference finals, and the Ash finals. So, we got a little bit of season left, but it feels like it's
a couple
over
rounds
now.
left. We'll definitely be back for the conference finals. That's for sure.
It was great to, I'll say this, it's great to have you as an addition to the show every once in a while, which it feels like every 2 weeks when we can do this, actually.
Yeah, just about.
A lot of people like Noops. They're always his GOAT. Oh, but WC's like, Noops is my GOAT. Yeah, you barely know this guy. What did Noops do? What? God,
I don't know. It's MSK. I'm very lucky. People like me. They've always sort of liked me, and I like them too. No, Weezy, I do not follow UFC. I am a boxing fan, which is depressing because there isn't really any good boxing anymore. I watch it a little bit. It's just, and I'm sorry, it's too violent. I don't like watching it. It bothers me.
It's just
the last UFC fight I watched in earnest, I was with some friends in Vegas. They wanted to watch a fight, so we went to the fight. 10 seconds into the first round, this guy gets clipped in the forehead. There's a gash in his head, probably about that wide, about that thick. There is blood pouring out of this guy's head. He is covered head to toe. He looks like a bad horror movie. Like, if you ever watch It's Always Sunny, when Dee tries to be the extra in like the Shyamalan movie, she's just covered head to toe in blood. That's basically what the fight was. They didn't stop the fight. There was no fight to stop and maybe try to get him to stop the bleeding or anything. They beat the crap out of each other for about 3 minutes. And by the end, both of them were covered in the guy's blood. And then we just sort of went on like that was a thing. I will say I like that UFC has sort of changed the rule where in the first couple seasons, basically every fight would end with one guy mounting another and just punching him in the back of the skull over and over again. So it's just not for me. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I tell people this. My sports to watch are basketball and football. Those are my sports to watch. And I used to watch
tennis is probably the big one outside of the big three.
If
you've never seen tennis before, it's great to watch. From a betting perspective, it's great. 20 hours a day, 11 months a year, someone somewhere is playing tennis and we could watch it. We could bet on it. It's a great sport because it is a lot like boxing. Now, no one gets punched in the face, but it's a one-on-one sport. It's a lot about combinations and styles and people's ability to make, short-term changes and things like that. So if you've never watched tennis, I would suggest you try to do that. It can be a pain in the ass to watch, but we've got the French Open coming up here. If not next week, the week after. Try to find a way to watch that. And it's great, too, because they're playing in Paris. You get up in the morning, have a little coffee. There's some tennis ready and waiting for you, folks. So try tennis out if you haven't.
Yeah, I know my friends. Watch baseball again, guys. Baseball is so boring to watch. I know how to play baseball.
Baseball is only good for one thing, taking a nap.
Yeah, just if you want to put me to sleep while my wife, rides me, sure, I'll do that. But ain't nothing interesting watching about baseball. My wife might not even exist. He might not even exist. You guys never know. That's how I'm Dr. Strange. I can will my existence. I can just change how things work with my superpowers, actually. So, last thing I'll ask you, man, before we head out, anything you got planned coming up you would like to let the audience know about?
Again, as always, just follow me on Twitter at _Noops. I know everyone calls it X. I still type in Twitter. That works, thank God. That's one of the only things Elon hasn't messed up. But again, everything goes through there. I do regular basketball shows, a lot of other content as well. So check that out. Everything goes there. My DMs are open. If you want to talk hoops, slide in.
Hell yeah. So thank you guys for checking out this episode of the Cloud9 Podcast, and we'll see you guys on the next